president's been very clear. We don't seek a war with Iran. We're not looking for escalation here.
Tonight, concerns that Israel may respond with force to Iran's drone and missile attacks. Some top U.S. officials are worried of the potential for a wider regional conflict that the U.S. could get dragged into. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Adams. Those officials tell NBC News that President Biden has spoken with Israel's prime minister. He says while U.S. support is ironclad, he is urging restraint. Nearly all of Iran's attacks were shot down by Israeli, U.S. and other allied forces. No one was killed, but a 7-year-old girl hit by shrapnel is in critical condition. President Biden also told Prime Minister Netanyahu the U.S. will not participate in any counteroffensive against Iran.
We always listen to our partners and allies. We respect their view. We are also always reviewing all our options. And as I said, we will take whatever it takes to protect and defend our people.
Iran says the matter is now considered concluded, calling its attacks revenge for an airstrike on the Iranian embassy compound in Syria. It's now been more than 6 months of war in Gaza. The Ministry of Health there estimates more than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli army. Thousands more are missing or most likely dead under the rubble of bombed buildings. Our Sydney Dorner spoke with a Palestinian woman living here in Salem, working to get her family out of this dire situation. And Sydney joins us now with more on her story.
Yes, John, Nesma Kaoud was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest after her parents moved from Gaza. She says since a little girl, she's felt the pain of her relatives still there, but never saw conflict on the level we're seeing now.
Instant, terror filled me. I knew what was going to happen.
Nesma Kaoud reliving her visceral reaction to October 7th, 2023. Hamas and several other Palestinian militant groups launched a major attack on Israel. Nesma's family saw this unfold in real time.
They were there when it started, so they were kind of trapped there, and it took about 2 months for them to even finally be able to get out.
Her mother's side of the family is still living in Gaza. She can only communicate with them through infrequent messages.
When they do speak to us, they're devastated. There's no food. There's no, clean water. They're living in a tent in the Mawasi area on the beach. It's not a life that anyone should be living.
There are thousands of families just like Nesma's. Grassroots collective Operation Olive Branch is dedicated to amplifying their voices and helping Palestinians meet their basic needs even while living in terror. The organization got started 2 months ago by a group of people on TikTok to make it easier for people around the world to help.
What more can we do to help besides educational content? So whenever families started reaching out to us and saying, we have GoFundMes and we desperately need help getting out, we were like, okay, well, let's highlight these GoFundMes. Let's ask people to donate what they can.
So far, Operation Olive Branch has helped 50 families evacuate. Nesma hopes her family in Gaza can be next and is working to raise $70,000 to make it happen.
Any amount to be able to get these families out would be literally life-saving.
Thank you for our Sydney Dorner for that report. Turning now to weather, we had a great Sunday of some sunny skies and warm temperatures across the area, but there are some changes heading our way to start the work week. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, what can we expect for our Monday coming up?
Well, I can tell you, John, those changes haven't arrived just yet. So just looking at that Stoller family estate camera makes me want to go out my patio, crack open a bottle of red and just kind of chill out the rest of the night. I can't do that because I'm here, obviously, but we are going to be seeing some changes moving into the overnight hours. A weak system moves on shore, bringing in overcast skies for your Monday with some afternoon sunshine. Where we're starting to see some of those thick clouds is along the Oregon coast. Temperature right now of 53 degrees. We go from Astoria to Lincoln City along the central Oregon coast with a temperature right now of 56 degrees. The active weather has really been east side of the Cascades and over into the central and southern southern part of the Willamette Valley with some of those thunderstorms rolling in, especially near Enterprise, where we're seeing some really intense storms just sitting over parts of Enterprise and along North Powder there, along Highway 30. Baker City, you're included in that with some heavy downpours, some hail. That blue that you're seeing flash on your screen right now is the hail that we're starting to experience now. These showers and thunderstorms will kind of let off a little bit here in the next couple of hours, but you can kind of see where all the heavy rain has been. Bend and Redmond or in Prineville, you've seen about 1/10 of an inch to almost 2/10 of an inch in Prineville because of the heavy downpours. Heading into tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be a little bit cooler, but mainly dry. And by the later part of this week, we're going to be seeing another warm up. I'll have the details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you later in the show. A busy weekend for law enforcement in Portland. Several agencies teamed up last night to shut down several takeover events planned by street racing groups that ran at the same time as previously planned stolen vehicle operations. While they're still collecting all the data, at least 6 people were arrested, 8 stolen vehicles were recovered, at least 3 firearms were seized, and at least 2 cars involved in the street takeovers were towed. This follows a separate street takeover on Friday where a dozen cars were towed and 1 person was arrested. There's now federal help available for recovery efforts from the January winter storm. President Biden has approved Oregon's disaster declaration. This makes federal funding available to state, tribal, and local governments, plus some nonprofits to help repair and replace facilities damaged by the storm.
My kids left on a normal school day and never saw any of their belongings ever again.
A local family is forced to start from scratch after a fire, and they're asking for the community's help. The DeLutz family lost all of their belongings when an electrical fire destroyed their home back in February. While no one was hurt, one of their daughters has complex medical needs, which increases their need to find a new home. The family says they laid down roots here, even organizing ways to give back to their community. And the last thing they want to do is leave.
It's so challenging to turn around and say, we need help in this scenario, but we do.
Of the fire is undetermined. The family is raising money through a GoFundMe. We'll have a link to that on our website, kgw.com. Portland's Jefferson High is facing some setbacks when it comes to renovations. There have been new delays and costs are on the rise. Construction isn't set to begin until 2025. It'll be finished in 2029, 2 years later than originally planned. At a recent school board meeting, a design firm said it will cost more than $400 million to rebuild the school. That's $125 million more than the project's currently funded for. A Portland Public Schools spokesperson says the rest of the money will have to come from future bond measures. Meanwhile, Beaverton has broken ground on a new high school. The district marked the start of the project Friday, right next to the current Beaverton High. The price tag there, about $250 million. It's the biggest project to come from a 2022 school bond passed by voters. It will replace the only school in the district considered to be in critical condition. The new school is set to open in fall of 2025. Farms that grow only one type of crop could be hurting bees. That's the new findings from a University of Oregon study. To look into this, researchers visited sunflower fields in Northern California, just west of Sacramento. They found mass blooming fields of one crop did not reduce the microbial diversity in a bee's gut. But they did increase the spread of infectious parasites that can harm bee health and cause them to die. Scientists did find one way to help.
We found that if there were some non-crop plants by those mass blooming monocultures, that actually helped mitigate that we call like an amplification effect, like this amplification of disease effect. So that's where the diversity comes in.
Researchers say the spread of disease is one of the main causes of population decline in insect pollinators. The study was published in the Molecular Ecology Journal. Millions of Americans have yet to file their taxes. If you're one of them, the IRS has some tips to help you get them done before the Monday deadline. It's best to file electronically and choose direct deposit to get your refund sooner. If you've got questions about how to file, the interactive tax assistant tool on irs.gov can provide answers to common tax law questions. If you need more time to file, the IRS says it's best to request an extension that will move your deadline back to October 15th.
Deadline, they'll avoid penalties. And speaking about support for an individual who may owe taxes and needs help, the IRS will work with taxpayers who cannot pay the full amount of tax that they owe.
It is important to remember, however, that if you owe money, you have to pay it by tax day or have a payment plan set up. Again, the deadline, Monday night.